You know, the situation in the Sahel that is involving Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso should be a wake-up call to regional African institutions and even African institutions. People join bodies for specific reasons. If you look at the economic community of West African states, and you look at the treaty that creates it, the body was meant to provide a forum under which the countries would enjoy greater political intimacy and economic benefits. And what has happened in the recent past, because of the activities of individual politicians and groups of politicians in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea, there have been changes of government in what in classical terms would be described as unconstitutional changes of government by military personnel. But what is unique is that these changes enjoy popularity on the ground. We have seen thousands, if not millions of people on the ground, and immediately that happened in Burkina Faso, the people celebrated. In Guinea, people celebrated. But when it happened in Niger, we saw ECOWAS issuing threats and instituting sanctions on Niger specifically. And this then called into question, why do you abandon us in our hour of need, complete with closure of borders, those with countries which border Niger? So the decision that has been made by those three countries is informed by the argument, which you cannot fault, that we no longer find value in ECOWAS. And if we joined for specific reasons, we joined in order to enjoy security, we joined in order to enjoy economic benefit, and our friends have turned into bad Samaritans and are no longer good Samaritans, then why should we continue to participate in this organization? It is unfortunate, but understandable. In fact, I've had some individuals who understand Pan-Africanism, in my view, in a totally different sense than I do, saying that this move is not in keeping with Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism does not mean that you swallow poison. Pan-Africanism means that you engage in activities that enhance the spirit of Ubuntu and Pan-Africanism in a sustainable manner. So it is true that this is a bold move. These countries are telling Africa and telling their colleagues in West Africa, we cannot continue to pretend. We are leaving and we are sending a clear statement, and that statement they have already sent by saying that we are moving towards a confederation. Sometimes you need a break in order to have genuine unity. And that is what I understand the leadership in Niger, in Burkina Faso, and in Mali, and by extension even Guinea-Bissau, to be making. Brave move indeed. Let's talk about African unity, East African unity, and ultimately African unity. We know that divided and economically and politically and militarily weak as we are, there is nothing we can do. We cannot resist. We are given something, a little carrot, and we run with our tails up because we are indebted. We are weak. We are manipulable. And unless we learn that unity is our salvation and unity of purpose, then we will continue to be puppets. We will continue to be pawns in the political chessboard. Unfortunately, because of the nature of international politics and dynamics, it is not going to be easy to change immediately, but immediate steps can be taken to begin to move away. In fact, what we have seen in Niger, what we have seen in Burkina Faso, what we have seen in Mali to a certain extent, what we have seen in Guinea to a certain extent tells us that there are things that you can do immediately. Completely say, we are not going to have French military in our territory. We are not going to have the military of another nation in our territory. We are going to change our currency. We are going to have new friends. Those can be done immediately. And once you've laid that foundation, then you move deliberately towards total liberation. But the most important thing is that the decisions made for immediate action must be decisions that are informed by the reality and informed by patriotism, and knowing that those whom you are fighting against will also resist. And you can only resist them if you are organized and if you work in concert. That is the only way that we are going to resist. And we have examples of countries, as I've already indicated, in Africa that have done that. In Tanzania, we were able to see it. When John Joseph Pombe Magufuli became the president, within a very short time, he was making decisions that were going to liberate Tanzania. And even in Rwanda, after the genocide, we saw the RPF Kagame administration say, we are going to move away. And even recently in Uganda, the administration of President Museveni, having been removed from the circle of blue-eyed boys and girls of the United States of America, is beginning to move away. But in the knowledge that it is not a fight for the faint-hearted. You are going to be resisted. You are going to be fought. Some are going to be sent to the cemetery sooner rather than later. Not easy, but that which is easy is not worth fighting for.